time is it?
Your show.
Yeah, what time is it?
Your show.
Yeah, what time is it?
Your show.
Yeah, he's back from the dead.
Your
Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon, right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah.
Your show.
What time is it?
Your show.
Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah.
Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Welcome into another edition of Your Show. 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Another week has begun. Congratulations to everyone who thought it was Monday all day today. You made it. It's actually Tuesday, and the good news is there's only a couple more to go before the weekend. So we got that going for us as we get set for the little short week around here. We'd like to start all of our shows with my girl, who doesn't seem to be in the proper place right now. Margaret, can you report to the stage, please? Margaret? She's the star of the Maggie Cam. She's looking at me. Come up here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at her go. Perfect time. Let's go ahead and get a fluffy butt Maggie Cam. We got dragons on the ones and the twos today as we say hello to the Maggie Cam. All the love to our best pals over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, Mike and Rochelle, and their lovely puppy, Leroy, who just so happens to be dating Maggie. So girls, girl puppies, hands off. Leroy's hers. And the rest of the team, Kirsten, Shar, and Chris, always there to make your day better. They have all the deals ready for you. Hit up our good friends at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Look at that. You too could have a dog sitting on a bed promoting Pet Planet. That's what it's all about. Right there. God, that's a good angle. So on Mondays, we do stuff. Tuesdays, we also do stuff as we've grown into almost a fully identifiable day with each day. Monday is usually the recap with Brooksy and Network Ryan. Tuesdays are when we talk music, and sprinkle in a couple all-natural products while we're at it. And we do that with our next two guests who are here. It is a three-man show today. The stars and hosts of the about-to-debut All Out of Angst podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Uncle Mike and Matt from All the Band.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah, dog. Look at you go. Woo. Tuesdays.
Amazing.
Hey, boys, Tuesdays.
Where it's at.
Coming in hot today, and not just in the studio. We've just hit 23 degrees as the sweating is real. We probably have to look into... I'm surprised we made it this long without having any sort of, cool down effects in a place that's so full of all these electronics.
Hotness.
Honestly, with Uncle Mike's deodorant, I'm quite
You're
fine.
doing okay.
Hey, all right.
Boy, do you smell great.
God.
Nice. Good timing. Damn 20 is the promo. By the way, you use that and you get a huge discount on all of Uncle Mike's all-natural products. So happy to have you guys here. How, Uncle Mike, let's start with you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well.
Great answer. How about you, Matt, from All the Bands?
I'm saying a step up. I'm doing very well. Yeah.
I've been waiting for you to judge me for the sleeves I have on right now.
Well, if you didn't know, I've got my Chattahoochee shirt on that Aaron just got for me. And we took the sleeves off just before we came to the show because I didn't want to be shamed.
Yeah, I just
wearing
realized,
sleeves.
I guess my Rush shirt needs to lose the sleeves.
You know what the issue is? Back in the day, I found with the Gildan shirts, like I would just rip them right off. And that's how you do it. Like that's the cool way.
Yeah.
But now I've ruined a couple shirts by doing that where it's just like,
Oh, yes.
So now I'm like,
Meticulous.
cutting it and it just doesn't work and it's not the same.
As you
But
say that, I'm looking at how I'm going to snip this off.
I like to start right here, just make a little cut there and then just.
Well, how are we going to do this during the show? I can't have sleeves.
Oh.
Not like we talked about. Either long sleeves or no sleeves. You got me into that lifestyle. I
I
can't
have
be up here
a hole
going
in my
against it.
sleeve, so I'm like
Halfway
there.
Hey, you're Bon
That's
Jovi.
straight up Bon Jovi.
Yep, nailed it. So, hey, how about this? So on the All Out Angst podcast, we talk about basically the best music in the history of mankind, which is all of our angsty punk rock 90s stuff, along with the metal stuff, the heavy stuff that molded us. But today on the show, which we record before the Tuesday edition of your show that we do live, we talked about some of the fashion stuff that was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this would be a good moment to talk about the fashion of no sleeves, because that's something we didn't even talk about. Like you want to impress people, get the guns out, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And was that happening in the 90s? Like at that point I was wearing double XL shirts and the large jorts because that's what you do.
I've hated sleeves since I knew what they were.
Yeah, and you never really cared for. You're a shorts guy too, hey?
I hate pants. I'm on the record, and I will literally, till I die, this will be my biggest point of reference. That's the worst sentence structure in the history of man, but the message is this. Pants are nothing but a prison for your legs. Free your legs. They did nothing wrong.
I'm in shackles right now.
That's it. It's
I'm
disgusting.
gonna bring in a pair of pants that you might change your tune on
I am
because
very excited
they are
for
so
this.
close to shorts or crotchless pants or assless pants.
I
that
got all those.
They might.
I'm listening.
They're my work pants. Like my working on the house pants. or
Game
whatever.
worn pants.
There's less pant than
I like that.
anything.
I like
Yeah.
that
So
a lot.
where are they dropping material? Like this isn't like a capri type.
No. It's just like the crotch blows. I don't know what it is with me. Maybe my pants are too tight. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's too much. I don't know what it is, but I have a problem with pants blowing out in the crotch.
Yeah.
And then they start blowing out in the crotch, and then it moves to the ass. So they're crotchless, they're assless, but they still have legs. And this is where I respect the pants, because when I'm outside working in the bush or swinging a hammer, running a saw, whatever, like I want some leg protection, And so that's my happy medium. My Amanda always gets mad at me.
So you're telling me you got a pair of pants that has no actual leggings and no crotch?
Well, it's got remnants of legs, but the hole in them started in the crotch, and it
Yeah.
like spreads down the thigh. So I have calf protection, but basically no thigh protection.
Okay.
No ass, no crotch, but still a waist. It's a new thing.
I'd like
I'm
to wear
looking
them.
at
Bring them in.
contacting
Yeah.
some manufacturers.
Yeah, I feel like
And
we could
I
do something
think
with
I
that.
think you might change your tune on the
Okay.
pants. But,
Well, that'll be the decider. You bring
I
those
guess
in,
so.
and we
Sure.
will figure that one out. I'm
Yep.
going to try to just go sleeveless here. I'm not sure
He's
how
gonna
we're
do
going
it.
to do it.
Just
Live
hating.
on the air.
Well, I hate letting you down. We started a lifestyle,
Okay.
and I feel
I'm
like
more into
it's a
this.
large knife.
no, it's okay. It's all good. So, fashion of the old days. You're talking about the oversized clothes.
Yeah.
Tell me
and-
more about your favorite fashion from when we were cool.
Well, again, it was I was into skateboarding, so there's going to be the like airwalks or
Yes.
just in general.
The shoe culture. We didn't even talk about the shoe culture, man.
Vans,
to the point where-
airwalks.
And
Yeah.
airwalks.
Etnies. I was an Etnies guy.
Oh yeah.
Give me those Etnies, baby.
I want to say like I did do the tilted hat too. I feel like I was.
You don't say that proudly.
Well, I feel like for like bands like Blink 182, which I was into at the time, you know, you would see them wearing the kind of sideways cap, and I did it, and that's something that didn't age well with me, where I'm just like, oh man, that's dorky now, but it was cool then.
See, and I was never a hat guy, so I didn't have the problem. I couldn't wear hats. I don't know. It's my misshapen head.
Still, like,
Try that one
Yeah.
on.
Well, see this one, and this is why I got these hats, because they don't sit as deep. Like whereas like this is the 5-panel hat, whereas like the normal baseball hat, like you got another inch or two on top. So when you put it on, it's like you got to wear it down here so that your head fits up in it, or it sits really super high. Whereas these ones actually, I mean, it's my hat, so it's the only hat I wear.
An issue for me is like where the ears go, and I think I even tucked them in sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Ear tucker, hey.
You know what
Is
the,
that
the
working?
best part of this, boys? And I started this real early.
you got it. Tap
Started
it.
this real early. Having long hair, we like to keep things under control. So once
Yep.
you get your
There you
sleeve
go.
off, we call these Gary's Good Do Rags.
Oh,
You
yes.
can buy them anywhere you find your gear.
Or make them yourself.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Find a
there you
shirt,
go.
give her a chop, and guess what? Now you're ready to go party. Look at that.
Look at that
Oh.
little makeover.
Gary's
just,
Good
just on
Do-Rags.
the show.
That's what we do. One down anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Again,
That
with
works.
the Bon Jovi.
There you go. Oh, the
Man,
bandoozy and the
Don't
hat.
get me. How bad of a song is "Living on a Prayer"? Can I just get that out?
Yeah, it's annoying. It's a good bass line. I'll give it that. But I
You're
don't
talking like a guy who's scared of Bon Jovi fans,
For
bro.
me, the Bon Jovi that's my Bon Jovi is just those like grade 6 dances where it would be like
5 foot between you, straight
Yep.
arms.
Always, I believe is one of the songs.
Oh yes.
I'll
Yeah.
be there when the sun don't shine.
Yes.
I don't know. I
That's
forget.
my Bon Jovi.
That's fair. Bed of Roses.
Bed of
Okay, I'm
Roses,
with you a little
yes.
bit. Maybe I'm just jaded on Living on a Prayer. Maybe that's what. Just from all the sporting events now. Like every single game you watch, the whole crowd starts saying, "Oh, we're halfway there. Oh,
Oh,
Living
yeah.
on a Prayer." It's like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, that's
Get
overplaying
together.
stuff can do. Like, you're cool with AC/DC or is
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that it's like transcended sports too. Like it's not just a hockey game. It's like they got a baseball. Like if a team's down, hey, we're living on a prayer. Play that Bon Jovi song.
Yeah.
I think my biggest issue is all of the bands we used to listen to. All of our punk rock bands taught us to not be a sheep. Stop being a follower. Be yourself. And I just see all these people. Well, they're doing it, so let's do it. Well,
Right.
they're doing it, so let's do it. It's like no, be different. Sorry, that was my angsty rant for the day.
That's okay.
The kind of connection to Larry David too, like how he doesn't like singing Happy Birthday, so he'll kind of he just like hates having that. So
Right.
I feel like living on it's kind of the same thing where you're just like, oh, we're doing this, so okay.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. I'm also not a big Bon Jovi guy. Although you did make a couple of good counterpoints, so I'll accept
And,
those.
Like Richie Sambora is a tasty guitar player. Like
We're talking looks,
not
right?
well, obviously.
So handsome.
Duh.
Maybe I'm jealous. Maybe that's what they're
Yeah.
like the hottest band on earth. Like between John Bon Jovi and that dude, like woo, swooning hearts. They could just go out there and poop on a microphone and they'd be like, yeah,
I'll
look how
take
they
10.
play that. Yeah, sign me up. Bon
take that
Jovi,
album.
very, very interesting. So that's a little taste of what we talked about on the All Out of Banks podcast, which will be dropping here very soon. We're waiting for some very exciting logo work to be done, which is very, very cool. So that will be coming down the pipe as we make our way on your show on a Tuesday. Still feels like a Monday. Did you guys fall into any of those Monday traps where you have the long weekend and then you start your day and you think it's a Monday?
Well, you forget that I have every Monday, Tuesday off, so thank God it's Monday.
So what's the
So-
deal?
Yeah.
What a great NoFX song. Monday is my favorite time of year. So what happens when Monday is a holiday, but it's also your day off?
Well, the beauty
Here we
of
go.
the city job is there's these things called Lou days.
Yes.
So now I had the weekend off because I get every second weekend off. Then I had Monday, Tuesday off, and bam, Wednesday off. Too. So
Amazing.
like basically
You're
we're
living the
partying.
dream. Yeah, you guys are going hard. I'm
Love
very
it.
jealous. What about
Love
you, Uncle Mike? Store open today?
It was,
yesterday?
yeah. It was not. We're actually normally closed on Mondays anyway,
Oh,
so it kind of
perfect.
works out. And yeah, kind of back to normal things today.
You didn't get
and-
caught with anything being like,
No,
I gotta take the kids or this or
normally
that?
I kind of would. I think kids are done school now. So, I mean, my house is in full summer mode. I'm not so much, I guess, because I still have to work. But yeah,
How has that transition been?
it's always a little tough.
Yeah.
You know,
Where did the kids go during the day? What do you do?
They hang out. Amanda's at home. She's a teacher,
it,
so
yeah.
she's at home, and
Ooh.
they're just loving
You
it.
got lucky
know?
on that one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
it
Okay.
works out quite nicely. The one thing is that she sometimes forgets that I still need to work, and so sometimes plans are made, and it's like, oh, that's on a Monday, or that's on a Friday, or that's on a day where I should normally work. But I also like taking liberties when I can, and you know, summer around here is pretty short, so I take advantage of. Actually, it was Friday that I had to take off because she was still working. Kids were done school, and so it's I just take the day off, and it's great. I get more shit done at the house, and I love it. I spend 4 days working outside and spamming spammers, I guess, is what I did. I have this new affliction to getting back at scammers on Facebook Marketplace.
Hold on,
'cause-
this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's get into this. I didn't think we'd be going in this direction, but I am all about making the world a better place. Karma being very real. You hear it here on this very show all the time. Finally, somebody is taking it to those assholes. that
Taking
are
a
out there
stand.
Trying to screw us. What's
Yeah.
going on? What's the process?
So I guess, I mean, and I've run into it a few times in the past. I've never really thought anything of it. So Facebook Marketplace,
Ugh,
I
the
found
worst.
a chicken coop that was like a really good deal, cheaper than what I could build it for. And I started messaging this person, and it's like $350. I'm sure to build this coop would cost me $1,200.
Whoa.
And that's just in materials. So I'm like, damn, this is a really good deal.
Almost a little too good to be
Nah.
true.
Too good to be true. And
there
usually
you
I'm
go.
on top of these things, right? It's like, that seems, but I've done that in the past where I think it's too good of a deal, and then I don't message them because I'm like, oh, this has to be a scam. And then sure enough, it was an actual thing. Like the week before, there was a wood chipper mulcher type thing for like $100. And like, damn, that's because normally they're $800, $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's got to be a scam. And sure enough, I messaged her, and by the time I messaged, she's like, oh, sorry, it's gone. So she didn't even try to scam me. She's like, it's sold. It went really fast because it was right because it was $100. And so the chicken coop comes up. I'm like, it's probably a scam, but you know what? I lost the chipper the other day. I'm going to actively seek this one out. Of course, I'm right away like, I'll come today because I'm at home with the kids and I can sneak out and I'll bring you cash, whatever. And it, you know, of course, they with the things like, oh, I'm at work. It's like, that's fine. I'll come to your work, bring you a deposit. Oh, no, can you just send me a deposit over email?
No.
So that's the red flag,
Ding, ding, ding,
right?
ding, ding. Yeah.
And then you start looking at other aspects of the post that they have a picture of it, and it's like, oh, this doesn't look like Saskatoon, like the backdrop, the surrounding, the trees, the houses, whatever it is. And so then I start digging into it. It's like, oh, I'll come to your work and bring you cash. No, you can send e-transfer. Oh, sorry, I go, my email doesn't work. And then I'm like, wait a second, this person's wasting my time, wasting other people's times.
It's
And
time burglar.
It is. And so like,
Dirty old time burglar, bro.
I'm gonna stand up for the people that aren't standing up, or that these scammers are taking advantage of. And so I start wasting their time, and it's like,
you.
well, once I confirm your email address with my securities department, I'll talk to some of the other officers here, trying to drop these like little tidbits of like, I'm
know what you're
somebody,
doing.
yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm a scam seeker, something or other. And eventually, I report the ad. Usually I have some choice words for this person, that how they choose to spend their time or how they're taking advantage of people.
I feel like that's a really fun part of this story. What the hell did you say to this jabroni?
I
Or do you not
won't.
wanna
I
say
won't
it?
say
I
some
see
things
what
on the
I
air.
see what you're getting at,
But
okay.
it's basically like, do your parents know what you do for a living? You know.
How does it feel to know you let down your entire family every single time you try
Right.
to rip
I
someone
think
Like,
off,
it's
bro?
that
It's-
taking a disappointed approach to it. Like, I'm just disappointed.
I'm not
in
mad,
you
I'm
as a human
disappointed.
being.
Right, because what can you really, like? Yeah, you can swear at them and tell them to get a life, and really, it's tried to like report the profile that they're using, because a lot of these profiles they've started them up, an hour previous, and then they post something. So I report the ad, I report the profile, but yeah, like I said, usually try to make them feel not very good about themselves and the
Yeah.
choices that they're making doing these things.
Good
So.
for you.
Yeah, I know. Like, we had a little similar of a situation when Erin was selling her Pontiac Vibe when we got our new vehicle.
Cars on there, man.
And yeah, the guy messaged and was just willing to pay exactly what was asking for, but he's out of town or
Right.
something. I forget exactly what happened, but it was similar where like maybe wanted to like send a little, wanted some sort of information, or it was just everything about it seemed
just
wrong.
red flag,
Yeah.
red flag.
I don't recall what Aaron did, but
Yep.
it would have been similar. Yeah.
So once I figured this one out, and like I was to the point where I brought cash with me, because I'm like, I'm gonna go pick this thing. Like, this is huge. I had to line up a trailer. That's what it was, because it was a large coupe. So it's like, I gotta line up a trailer, and I gotta borrow it from my mother-in-law, and I yada yada, and I'm trying to do all this stuff, and then once I looked into the ad and the profile, then I started seeing other ones for other things. A lot of like lawn furniture or outdoor furniture,
Patio
like
furniture.
patio
Yeah.
furniture. It's like this set is probably $1,500, and they've got it on sale for $300, and then you start seeing the similarities. So then I started reaching out to just all these other ads, and I'm like,
Casey
blast
Jones.
you.
over
Oh,
there,
yeah.
vigilante.
a little vigilante, a little
Love it.
Facebook Marketplace vigilante. I mean, it made me feel.
You show up at their
But-
doorstep
yeah.
with your mask on and your
Oh,
goalie stick
Well,
ready to go to
and,
work.
and that's the thing. Like, these people probably don't live in Saskatoon. Probably aren't even from Canada. I mean, they're they say like, I'm moving states right away, and so
Yeah.
I'm like, what state do you currently live in? And they're like, Saskatoon. And
Well,
what
we live in a province.
Right. What state are you moving to? Vancouver. It's like, something doesn't check out here, right? So
Well, one thing I've noticed about like Facebook Marketplace specifically is there's like anytime you sell something, there's the first wave of all of the guys who are monitoring every single thing and are looking to rip people off. Full on.
Low balls.
Low
Yep.
ball
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
Like you can say, no or best offer, like this is firm, we're not negotiating. People, well, will you take this? Well, will you take my second born child for your Nintendo? Like the dumbest stuff. It's like, if you read what is on there, we are not negotiating. This is the number. If you don't have it, get out of here.
Yep.
And then there's a second wave of guys. I know this because I had to try to sell some vehicles for my old partner, and going through that process of strangers coming to your house, sitting in your car, opening the hood, getting in there, doing every single check you can do, and then after a half hour, they lowball you by like $500. It's like, well, no, this isn't.
Yeah.
Like, I had one guy who came to check out a vehicle, got in, started her up, started great, got out, and left the car running while it was locked.
oh,
So I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and he's like, yeah, I think I just locked the key in the car. I was like, well, that's an interesting little development.
Lock the key in your car.
right.
Well, I think, and that's the big saving grace. I think the shame of that led to the sale, because that was
Oh,
the guy
there
who
you go.
eventually, who
Nice.
eventually bought it. But we spent a good 45 minutes like looking up how to break into this certain type of car, and we had like the coat hangers out. We're like Ricky and the Trailer Park Boys, just trying anything to just get in there. And eventually we got in, and then the sale had happened. But if that wouldn't have happened, I doubt that they would have bought it, just
Right.
because like they felt really bad that they just left this car locked and running, and there's no spare key. Like, that was it. So people are always out for themselves, and it makes it such a toxic place on those buy and sell places.
The genius with some of those ads you're looking at, it's like picking the items like a chicken coop. That's a good thing. It's like no one's gonna try and rip you off like who would put that up? And
Well, and
like,
that's-
I feel like the market is, or I don't know the market, but I wouldn't assume it's that big. Or
And
whatever,
that's
for,
what
like,
I thought-
secondhand chicken coops.
Totally.
But-
And then I'm like, oh, is this like reading my algorithm? Like, is this taking, like, do they have access to information? Because I've literally been searching for chicken coops and chicken related
Skynet.
things.
God, I hate
So
Skynet.
it's like, oh, was this ad developed scam ad
Yeah.
developed specifically for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of things. I mean, there's dog kennels. There's a lot of patio furniture. These are just the things that I pick out because, like I said, once you kind of see an image
Yeah.
and a profile, you can pick them out a lot quicker. I spend a fair bit of time on the weekend.
Yeah, because
Well, you're sending me
Trying-
stuff all the time. You're
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
sound panels.
exactly.
Just came
Well,
across
like,
this.
'cause this
and-
is a good
yeah.
deal, right? Like there's a
Exactly.
lot of, and I mean,
Yeah, I get
I'm in the world of sustainability or whatever the hell you want to do. If I need to buy something, if I can find it used, I'm going to save money.
Yep.
It's not, not another one is being manufactured for my usage or whatever. It's the secondhand thing, right? I'm big driver is I'm going to save a couple bucks buying it
well,
secondhand.
and me working at the landfill, like I see so much of pretty much
Oh,
everything
yeah.
that's sold at Walmart or like just everything comes in. And like some of the stuff's so good, it's like brand new, like tailor-made golf clubs
Yeah.
or you name it. And it's just like such a shame to see, or like literally brand new wood. Remember pandemic? Like it was
Oh, yeah.
expensive to buy, like lumber and stuff.
anything
Now there's
lumber.
like perfect lumber that's just coming. They're paying to drop it off, and you're just like, oh man, like if this could only be recycled.
So
or
how
upcycled.
would one acquire the things that are maybe in good condition
What
somebody's taking to the
is
dump?
just set up shop on Valley Road
Okay.
and scope out the half tons.
Yeah.
Just watch it come in.
Well, if they can not even necessarily pay me, but if it lightens their load,
Yeah,
it's less
it
they
would-
have to
yeah.
pay for a dump fee, right?
Like I'm sure you get in trouble for soliciting, but you
Nah,
can,
probably. But there's no money has to be exchanged, right? It's just like, hey, I'll lighten your load, your dump
throwing
fee.
it out
You know,
anyway.
you're gonna throw it out
You're
anyway.
actually saving them money.
for the greater good, it is helping out.
That's
but
why
I'm
I do
sure
things.
somebody's gonna find something wrong with
Oh,
that.
probably.
That's usually how it goes. So now, how about you when you see those things? Like, is there any sort of initiative you can make at the dump to be like, listen, guys, like I'm coming across a lot of stuff that is in mint condition that's just getting thrown out for no reason. Like, is there any way you guys can go through and sort of set that aside?
With the new landfill, we are like, there's a whole bunch of new programs. Like we take tires now, we take oil, we take like electronics and certain items, even like household hazardous waste. Like we're starting to take a lot more items that just ended up in the landfill.
Okay.
But at this point, if it's considered garbage in the whoever's the powers that be,
Yeah.
it's pretty much.
So you can't just like leave work with a truck full of stuff. Be like, all right, see you guys later.
No, basically, once the customers paid for it to be dropped off, it's like
That's it.
they paid for a spot in the landfill and it
Right.
would be
And it's
stealing.
city property
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you'll see leaf blowers or radial
Right.
arm saws and just all these like perfect, like Marshall amps I've seen, and you're just like, oh man.
That's tough.
I think I got a new weekend project.
Yeah.
Hanging out at the front gate or just down the road
Yeah,
from the front gates of the
exactly.
dump.
I picture
With a
like Uncle
trailer.
Mike just setting a stand up and just put one of those arms down where it's just
Yeah.
like you lift it up and down and just go through. All right, quick inspection here. Take
Oh,
a peek.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, none of this stuff's allowed in the dump here. We've actually started this new thing, so I'll just take that off your hands and then
Yeah,
throw it
even
in.
just like a pre-gate
Yeah,
gate.
you put on some high vis, people just respect you.
Clipboard.
They're like, I respect this person. Like he's got high vis on.
Clipboard will get you
Milwaukee,
places, man.
just guy pulls up and you just
Yeah.
hold on a second. Yeah, okay, hold on, I'll let him know. Sorry, sir, way too heavy. We're gonna have to take this stuff.
Yeah.
My bad. Between a clipboard
I like
and a
this.
headset, I think you're set.
Immediately, I just like was respecting you more.
Well, that's what I mean. You can tell.
He's got a headpiece.
That's what I'm
It's-
talking
all right,
about.
all right.
Sort of
No
important
question.
to have these things. That's why people are always so respectful of bouncers because they have their earpieces in and a clipboard. Bouncer
And
syndrome.
that mall cop move too, where you kind of like reach for like the phone like it's a gun. I think maybe I'm taking it too far as I usually
Paul
do.
Blart.
Yeah.
You go Paul Blart that bitch. I got you. I'm enjoying that. As we continue to roll on your show, the Tuesday edition. You know, this is the 60th episode, you guys? 60th
Crazy.
episode.
It's just funny how life just keeps happening.
I feel like we literally just started this little adventure. And then I look back, and that alone is 60 hours of live, I guess, content every day. Like, it's nuts to think about. But then when you look at the quality, like the first month and a half of shows were just garbage compared to what they are now, as you try to find yourself and you try to establish what's going on. And now that we have established ourselves. It's so cool to realize, like, hey, Tuesdays I'm talking with the boys.
And the
You know?
friendships, like I
The
knew I was
bonding.
gonna like Mike, and then I find out he's a frickin' vigilante for Facebook Marketplace. Like,
Just when you thought you couldn't love them
Yeah.
anymore. And that's the I say that all the time. That's the beauty of this whole family that we've created. Is we got guys like Uncle Brando in the house who I love
Ew.
so damn much. Him and Network Ryan, they got their own show. And then we got the producers, my man right over here, La Dragon and LB, they got their viewing room show that we were recording before. We were recording our show. And then we got all of these guys that are a part of this, but also a part of these other shows that we're also rolling out. Like we got this huge family that continues to grow. I was talking to one of my buddies I was talking about those long phone calls I had today. I had 2 like 1 hour phone calls, and both of them were talking about how special this place is and how welcoming it is, and how I was explaining that once you are in this studio, you are a member of the family. That's here, because you wouldn't be welcomed in here if you were like, if you were a dink. You say
yeah,
no
there's a vet-
assholes. You're
There's
not
a
allowed.
vetting process
Yeah.
for sure.
And so that alone just keeps this place so, so together and so happy. And that's how we've created this positive environment. I'm just so proud of that. And the fact that we've done it in like 3 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, that's crazy.
It's
It's not normal to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, it was whatever. 3 months ago or not even, and I'm trying to tell Aaron, your idea. I'm like, Gary's onto something, and I don't really know what it is, but it's gonna be cool.
Everyone legit thought I was insane. And I was. I was insane for a good month and a half while I was building this
Honestly,
thing.
You need to be insane to be a dreamer,
That's
and if
what I
you
was
don't
told.
dream, then you're sheep, and you're just gonna do what everyone else does, and it's
Yeah.
what's the point?
I had a lot of late nights talking with Coach Mazer, my right-hand man, my sweet prince, another guy who's on here all the time. And him and I have our show Dude podcast, which we brought back, which has turned into like a really fun little thing that we do. But I would sit there, it'd be like 3 a.m, and I couldn't sleep, and he couldn't sleep, and we'd talk on the phone. I'm like, man, everyone thinks I'm crazy. He's like, well, you know what? Like, every single idea needs someone who is crazy. If you don't have someone who's thinking so big that everyone says it's impossible to achieve, you're not going to achieve anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I guess I'll be the crazy guy then.
Yeah.
So then 3 a.m, I took off my shirt, my pants, and I'm the crazy guy now. Here we go. And here we are. I really want to get into those pants that you're talking. I can't stop thinking about
Yeah,
the
me
crotch
too.
thing.
Like,
Yeah.
in my mind, they look a lot weirder than they should, but like they're
Crotchless ass.
they're crotchless,
yeah,
right? Oh,
they're
And
they're full
assless.
on. There's not much there, but there's enough.
and it's not like drop seat pantaloons.
They're not. They're like a pair of black Levi's. I don't know. I feel I would kind of compare them. Maybe it was a few years ago. I recall this style of pant that was tight legs. I never had them, but I saw them out in the fashion world or something. And they like a baggy ass, but tight legs. So, and these have kind of morphed into that because the crotch has totally let go. So they're just kind of flapping in the wind.
Smart though, because that's where all the issues come.
Crotch, man.
So this is the thing.
Yeah.
In the summer, when I'm outside working, it keeps everything nice and cool.
Yep.
But as far as like leg protection, you still have some protection when I'm, trudging through the bush or
those Russian thistles and
Exactly. Or you're carrying sharp stuff. I don't know. I'm using hand tools or garden tools or running saws, or not that pants are going to stop a saw
even some
from
of that
cutting your leg
beneficial
off,
mulch
but-
that you're talking about.
Exactly.
That can be-
There.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Boys, I was thinking, just as you were talking about that in fashion, our favorite shirts. Like we've talked about shirts here before. Growing up, not right now, because nothing's going to beat that. Like Alan Jackson, dude. Like that's the life I want to live. That's LAVIN
I
right there.
know.
That's living.
Just
But when we were growing up, what was your go-to shirt as far as
yes.
be it going out or going to shows? Because if you don't know this or at home, when you go to a show and you're going to a punk show or you're going to a metal show, a lot of times what you wear is sort of your identity within that crowd. Like you come across someone else wearing the same shirt that you're like not exact same, but the same band, you're bros for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Like that's my dude. Like it plays such a big part in the concert going experience. Do you have any sort of go-to shirts that you miss?
Well, again, it's like once
Get right in there.
yeah,
And
once
then
I
you-
got into like band shirts and stuff, that was kind of my uniform,
Yeah.
tight black jeans and a band shirt.
Oh, so
but if
sexy.
we're thinking back to some of those shirts that I really liked, I love chip and pepper.
Yes.
And then Aaron was telling me, like, were they all this way, or was it just some where it was like a Technicolor where it changed because of the
heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heat signatures.
I know Murray had one of those, and
were badass.
we were skateboarding, and this was not like the old school decks, the wide ones or whatever. And he was
Fat
sitting
boys.
down, going down a hill, and because you always had the bigger shirts or whatever, it sucked up in the wheel.
Oh,
and
no!
and it was like brand new, and I just remember that being like, it was such a painful thing for that to happen. But yeah,
Not my chip and pepper, bro.
chip and pepper.
Oh,
for
I love
sure.
that. Yeah, see, I was a big chip and pepper guy, an Ocean Pacific guy.
Yeah.
Ocean Pacific.
good.
I
Mom
broke
and
I
Dad has.
broke my collarbone. It was the day before I was started grade 3. I was 8 years old, 8 years old, I think. And my brother and I were jumping our bikes, and so we'd stack 2 tires on top of each other and get a flimsy ass piece of plywood. And we had to keep upping the ante kind of thing. So instead of going off at the same time, we couldn't do that because the ramp was too wobbly. But we'd figure we'd go one after each other, right after. And brother goes off, he wipes out. I'm right behind him, can't stop. I go flying over. The front tire hits his bike frame. I go ass over tea kettle. Head hits the ground. Collarbone broken. Wearing my splatter paint Ocean Pacific shirt.
Yeah.
My dad, thinking he has some medical skills, not a doctor, decides to try to push my collarbone back into place. Apparently, that's not what you do. That's not what you do with collarbones.
Pop her in.
Makes me take my shirt off, so moving my arm. They, eventually take me into the Mediclinic, where they end up cutting the shirt off to not put me through more pain. But I had already taken it off and put it back on, and to try to have my shit relocated. But that was a good shirt.
Oh, man.
You weren't a no fear guy, were you?
I had some no fear. I had some no surrenders. I had, basically, and I talk about it all the time, I was very spoiled my whole life, growing up. So I had all, the coolest shirts and all that, but they'd be hand-me-downs from my older brothers, but I still had them all, which was always a fun thing. But, Mondetta, Ocean Pacific, and Chip and Pepper were,
Buffalo,
the big 3.
Or, no, that was jeans.
Buffalo was jeans. Those were some nice
jeans.
jeans.
The
Yeah.
lockup.
Those were classic. What about band shirts growing up? When I look back, I've lost so I had the sweetest Lagwagon shirt. It was the baseball jersey Lagwagon. It had Lagwagon with the cross, which I love and miss so much. I got my Operation Ivy shirt over there that it has so many holes in it that it won't stay on my body anymore, so it's now hanging up on the side. I had an Against All Authority shirt that I just loved that fell apart. Against All Authority bunny hug. I had all these shirts that I wore so much that they disintegrated. And I feel like we all had those special band shirts that we had all these connections to, be it you bought it at a show or you just loved the band so much that you wore it everywhere you went, so everyone could be like, oh man, I love those guys. Me too. It was a big sign talking about who you are and what you're about when you wear those band shirts.
And I haven't lost that. Still to this day, you can be anywhere in the world. You walk by someone with an Iron Maiden shirt, you're like, oh man, Iron Maiden. And then you're best buddies and you're in the pub, you were longtime friends.
Yeah, well, because you know each other.
Yep. I had a No Use for a Name T-shirt and a Good Riddance T-shirt that were...
Uncle Brando loves Good Riddance.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
You have to, right? And to the point where I can't, I can wear it around the house or something, but I can't really wear it out. It basically, it's too holy. It's not going to stay on your body. But then I started I could be cutting out, and making a patch jacket kind of thing with old T-shirts kind of thing. And so I'd cut them out, whatever logo was left, and I'd sew them onto a bunny hug or something.
Uncle Mike's all natural jackets.
Yeah, it's a reuse. It's never really dead. You just keep it living. Or sometimes they never made it onto anything, and they just stay folded up in a shelf in my closet, and they move from house to house.
Do they ever get thrown out?
No. They attempted. I mean, holy underwear, right? She's like, what? I'm like, what are these underwear doing in this bin? She's like, well, they're freaking holes in them. It's like, no, they're still fine.
Oh, I hate when Aaron tries to do that to me. It's just all. There's plenty of meat left on that bone, and you're throwing out these underwear.
Okay, I hate to quote Seinfeld here, but what's the deal with women throwing out men's clothes?
I know.
What the hell? Why? Is there any reason behind it? Would you like to just yell from the corner?
I think we Hulk out
Yeah, that's how. That's what she's like.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, you can haul. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. And then I end up ruining them, and we throw them out. But I think that's her game plan. I just get so caught up in wanting to Hulk out with the underwear.
Sometimes you
or
just want to
shirts
tear a shirt off. I get it.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe the real question is, what's the deal with guys holding on to holy clothes they can't wear anymore?
Because
Not
It works, and I don't want to. I don't like spending money on socks. I don't like spending money on underwear.
Really, when you break it right down, do I look like the type of person that needs to wear nice clothes? Do I not look like the type of person who loves wearing what I want to wear? Is that too much to ask, just to be allowed to wear what you want to wear?
You're approachable. It's not like you got high vis and a freaking headset on. Like,
Clipboard hanging out. Sorry, sir, we're going to have to inspect your garbage load real quick before we let you in. I miss my shirts, though. I miss my shirts so much because I look now, and one of my biggest things, since I started this whole little party that we got going on, I don't leave the house much. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like society has just let me down so much that every time I leave the house, I get 100 reasons why to not leave the house. And it's like, well, why do I even leave the house? Because everyone out there is just a bunch of assholes who don't. Now they ran from their time. Without going out, I end up wearing the most ridiculous, outrageous clothing, and I have no one here to stop me. So I'll roll in with a robe and no shirt. No one will say anything. I'll roll in with Christmas pants on and my He-Man bunny hugging. No one will say anything. I roll in here with my hair in braids. No one says anything about it. So I have no one holding me accountable. So I can just wear whatever I want. And all of my nice clothes that I would normally wear when I had a job where I had to leave the house every day and go in and talk to people, all those nice clothes I don't wear anymore. I don't need to look like a nice person when I'm, at a radio station pushing a button.
I know for me with because again, I've never really had the fashion or whatever. Erin bumped up my game,
Yeah.
but I still know when I would go first time meeting her dad or something, and I was
Important
like, oh,
events.
I'm gonna grab my nice clothes. So I grabbed the Megadeth shirt with the sleeves. That's
how you class it up.
It's a true story.
Put the
that's,
sleeves on it.
Yeah,
It's
that is
okay.
my nice clothing.
And when you walk out, Aaron looks and goes, "Oh yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one. Exactly. I didn't know you were dressing up. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I find my closet. I mean, I have shirts and merch, for sale or whatever, and so I do wear a different shirt every day, but it's the same shirt.
Yeah.
It's a clean shirt. It's a different shirt, but it's the same shirt.
Well, it's your uniform.
And it's right. And then all those other shirts that I don't, that hang in the closet that are they stay new for years, which is great because the rotation is a lot slower than they normally would.
Yeah.
These shirts, will burn out a lot faster because I'm wearing them more often. But that's my defense when Amanda tries to throw out stuff and say, well, that's my home working shirt. That's what I wear out in the bush or we're in the garden or when I'm in the garage or whatever.
You're doing work.
Exactly. And no one's going to see me. And if they do, call before you come over because you might see more than you want. But yeah.
Because obviously the shirts, they have the lifespan where, they're brand new, which is almost too new to be cool.
Yeah.
Then they get a little bit of patina on them, and you're like, they're perfect. The sleeves are dropped. And then once it starts going to that bluish gray, and it's a different tone than your black jeans or whatever, that's when it's kind of might be time to retire this or whatever.
Okay, now this leads me into my next question of how hard is it? Because we are looking into getting swag for not just your show, but for the network and for the other shows like the One Bad Podcast every Friday that drops. How much work goes into designing a shirt? I know you guys have put out a lot of shirts with all your bands.
Yeah, because
What's the process?
Again, the metal fashion. A lot of times, there's the 4-color prints, which would be our album covers. Where it's all the bells and whistles. But again, it's heavy metal where you just as big as it can be, slap it on the black shirt, and then you can do a few things maybe make a distressed outline or something. But for the black and white shirts or whatever, it's as simple as calling up Chad Carruthers at System Graphics.
Hell yeah.
Saying, we want a cool punk thrash looking thing in the vein of whatever, Terminator 2 or whatever, Jurassic Park, some sort of 90s reference thing. And then, you get the file from him a few days later. You send it over to Tucker's
Tea, babe. What's his
Teas.
Graham? Your buddy there?
Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce at Tucker's
Send it
Teas.
over to
Yeah.
Bruce. And then again, say we just want it as big as possible. And we always make sure like we want the nice Gildan equivalent shirt because you don't want the crappy
want
shirts
quality.
where they look like moo-moos or whatever
Right.
for like a size medium or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you go and pick them up, and that's my process.
So do you ever have any input on the logos or anything like that? Like when you're doing your artwork for your album covers, do you have any input on that?
Well, yeah, that's a case where because we work with Ed Repka.
Yeah.
He's from
Huge
Jersey.
name.
He-
Sort of a big deal.
Misfits, Megadeth, all
Sort of a
all
big deal.
these great bands.
His
Death.
buddy. You know,
big
whatever.
And he likes taking lyrics from a song. So we'll send him lyrics to usually like the title track or something, and then he builds imagery from that. And then he's been a guy where like the characters, even if it's like a zombie or something, it still either looks like him, his dad, or sometimes he'll like pick one of the band members and make it kind of look
So
like
cool.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, just we give them. This is what we would like to do. Like for Maverick, we want it to have a Ford Maverick, the exact same gold color as Murray's,
Yeah.
and then just wanted them kind of like driving off the road, being crazy,
Getting crazy.
yeah.
Crazy eyes. Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's you find the people that know what they're doing and say, we
Surround
already
yourself
like
with
yeah,
people.
we
Yeah.
like your style.
Yeah.
Here's a few ideas. But I find anytime you get too much like it's got to be blonde hair and we want them to have like this type of thing, then it starts.
You put them in a box.
Yeah, it ruins their
Once-
mojo.
And I say that whenever anyone talks about prep, and I've been on the record numerous times saying prep doesn't work for me personally. And being a guy in a business where prep is everything and your boss tells you have to prep everything, it became one of like the reasons I was let go, because if I prep and I have all of these things, I put myself into that box and I have to make sure I check all these things off before I can do anything else or be creative or let my mind expand. So by putting yourself into this, you can't be this.
Right.
And when I hear that, it's like, man, you do not want to have a big list of things you want to do before you can get into the actual thing you're trying to do.
Oh, exactly. I want to say when we did Full Speed Metal, that was the first thing the first thing we put out.
That's all.
And I think initially we were trying to make the connection with Ed Repka and, told him this is our idea. And I feel like we gave him too much stuff and he was almost like, this might not be for me.
Yeah.
And then we came back and said, you do your thing.
Yeah.
And then he was comfortable with it. But
And that's the thing.
I've just
yeah.
always had that opinion. And again, even with working with band members or something, and like Noel comes in or whatever, I'll have a riff and I'll be like, you can play it or harmonize it, but just do your thing over top, and then we'll end up having this nice texture. But then he's playing from the heart, I'm playing from the heart, and it just sounds cool. But as soon as you put it in a box, like, I want you to be playing, a third harmony of everything I'm doing,
right.
then he's not playing from the heart. It sounds just sterile and
It's got no character.
All the cool was taken out of
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's for sure. I look back and I think about, like, man, we could do a whole show about album artwork.
Oh,
Like you just talking about that. Like how, I guess, sort of how we've gotten to where we are when it comes to album artwork, because you don't have CDs coming out anymore. Like, where do you see album artwork?
I guess just when you're scrolling through like
On
Spotify
your screen, yeah.
or YouTube.
Like, do you even get to write a liner in an album anymore? Can you shout out all your buddies? Like, one of my favorite moments ever. Every time the Time of Demise album comes out, I'm like, they talk, there's Sexy Gary in there, and it's like the coolest thing.
And that's the thing, though. I like doing the liner notes and always having like all of your buddies, and you always have to do like Gary, Sexy Gary, or like Nickel or whatever.
Yeah.
but like always having a quote of like how like
how you know
Right.
him or what your connection
or like
is.
some little
How you
tidbit,
contributed
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
blah blah blah. Thanks for letting us crash on your couch or something. Like those types of things are so cool.
Like, those days are gone where you get home and you painted a perfect picture earlier when we were talking about comp albums, about how you get home or not comp album. We were talking about comp albums, but having an album where there's only 2 good songs on, the rest of it's garbage, and you're paying $30 for it. Like, you get into that album and you open it up. I always go to the liner. I go to the liner and I see who are they thanking, who are they talking to, because they'd always show other bands. Like, I want to know who my favorite band is associating with, because I'm probably going to like them too.
Yep.
So reading the actual liner of the album was almost as enjoyable and exciting as listening to the album as a whole.
Yes.
It was a huge part of the experience.
Or going in and checking the lyrics and realizing you've been singing the
Yes.
wrong lyric. You know,
Everything's
that's what that
wrong.
is. Right.
I think
that makes more sense.
it was
Yeah.
You know?
Lagwagon. I don't know if it's Trashed or which album. Maybe it was Duh, but they would do like the not mosaic, but just like a collage of all the different photos or whatever.
Yeah.
I always liked that. Like real photos of the
Right.
band. and-
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
trash.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That kind of stuff I really enjoyed. I always hate it when you would open it up. There's no lyrics and no photo of the band. You're
what
like,
are you
then
doing?
Then why
What
did
the
I
hell?
pay my $27.99?
What the hell? For two songs.
They better be
Yes.
the best damn
Yeah.
songs ever. You got lucky.
Yeah, yes. You got lucky this time. Oh, I miss that. Like that's See, I think that's what our whole podcast that we started is about, is like the things that we miss, because you can't go to the store and rifle through CDs anymore. You can't open up a liner and figure out who your next favorite band's going to be. What's the name of your favorite guitarist? Like all that stuff is lost because you don't have that part of the routine anymore. Now you just click on a button and there's your song. Yay.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it before, but the one thing I'm kind of fine with not being a thing anymore is the secret tracks. Like, because
We haven't.
It was kind of annoying. Like, it would be like, say you've got your 5-disc CD changer.
Right,
You're one of those pimps, and yeah. Like now you press play on CD 1 and you got to listen to, if you're just like doing something, now you got to listen to 20 minutes of dead air and then you get your,
One song.
yeah.
Little fun, hidden thing, which most of the time is just
And
stupid. anyway.
everyone did it.
Yeah, it was such a I know AFI answered that and stay fashionable. It was like, again, about 18 minutes after, and it starts with this like clown laughing. So like I would fall asleep to the album and it's like, and
No.
and you're like
And had
just
nightmares,
falling into that
yes.
nice sleep. And
No, was it like was Dookie? Was that
yeah.
All By Myself? Was that Dookie? No one was looking. I was thinking of you.
Yeah.
And was it I guess it wasn't a punk rock exclusive thing, hey? Like
I
lots
think
of
it
other
was just a 90s thing.
Yeah, I think it was just a 90s thing. Like if you made an album, you had to make sure you put that extra little bit on the back.
So was that because like CDs, now you could have like 70 minutes of music or something, and if you only had 30 minutes on your punk album, you're like, well, we got this
fill
much.
some-
Right, we got to
Yeah.
fill it in.
Or
Yeah,
we
maybe.
may as well. Or,
Yeah.
Or lots of times it'd be skits as well. Like like No Effects at the end of one of their albums just had basically El Jefe doing impressions.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
yeah.
This guy's more punk than me,
Right.
and he'd do all sorts of different voices. So there was sort of a place for that. I think you might be onto something though, where it's just you're trying to fill that space because you paid for a whole CD. You
Yeah.
better fill her up.
Jam it in there.
But yeah, I'm fine with those not being a thing anymore. Like,
There wasn't much. Like there was no real bangers there.
No.
Was I'm gonna knock you out, the Lagwagon one?
Oh, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that a secret song?
I
I don't think it was. It was a
think
part
so.
of
It
the
was just-
album.
yeah.
eh?
But
To
how
play
do you
some
feel about that song?
Rap music.
I'm not a fan.
That's yeah.
I feel like I saw like they played that live recently, and I was kind of like, you probably should have just played another song.
Yeah. No,
That
I'm
was
with you. I usually fast forward through it. But I mean, good for trying.
Yeah.
Just for
Mhm.
trying something.
I just like the lead into it. I'm trying to figure out what movie. I think it's from
It's
it's
Bruce
Bruce Willis
Yeah.
from
Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout. Yes, need to watch that
I
movie.
just
again.
want to hear you scream. Play some rap music. And then
Yeah.
all right, maybe I'm getting amped up to it now. Maybe I did like it. I didn't even know.
What's going on here now?
All right. Yeah. That's I don't want to break out into song right now. That would be just
No.
the worst. But that is also very fun. You guys, we did it again. We have rolled all the way through.
Amazing.
I'm looking up at the temperature, and my God, we reached 24. This is the hottest we've ever had it in here. I'm pretty sure.
hot in here.
So hot. That was a little flat, my bad.
That's sweet.
Uncle Brando is the biggest fan of heat I've ever met. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling hot? Yeah, this is just right. This is what his office looks like when you go into his office at work. This is what it feels like. It's just mugged.
And Aaron
Cool.
hates the heat.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
We got just both sides of the scale here.
The crowd is split 50-50.
Marge, look at that beautiful dog. She just got all cleaned up and she lost about 80 pounds of hair. So she's a lot lighter, but still a little bit hot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Such a beautiful puppy. Well, boys, we talked about the show. We talked about life. Talked about the short week. Is there anything else anyone wants to get out there before we dial in and we fire up the piano? Because honestly, that's all anyone's waiting for. You guys made the dumb mistake of making the piano play out the biggest part of the show. Now everybody tunes in just to see what you two are going to do next when we get Frankie's Fingers going. I don't know how you're going to top last week. We had Matt from all the bands on top of the table. We had Uncle Mike playing a classical, the beautiful form.
I just love
It
your
was
style.
amazing, and
yeah.
it's just like he's just flowing away while you're just shredding away. The dynamics are all there. I feel like you guys may have backed yourself into a corner, so I'm very excited to see what you're going to do to mix this up.
Yeah.
Le Dragon. Do we got any Frankie's Fingers in there? Let's see if we can find some. I heard it, yeah. And I feel like this is going to be a good one. Away we go, fellas. You are now playing the piano. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. It's been a great show. Thank you to my two beautiful, majestic unicorns over here playing us out. You know them from being here on Tuesdays, as well as the soon-to-drop All Out of Angst podcast. Third episode was recorded before this very show as we get set to roll that bad boy out. To Le Dragon, thank you for being amazing. He was also shooting another episode of his show, The Viewing Room with LB, which was absolutely fantastic. We're very excited to drop that one as well. To Uncle Brando, thank you for heating it up in here. It was, normal temperature until you rolled in, as we got some Commander cookout business to take care of. To this guy's lovely wife, Erin, over there. Thank you for coming by. We did a little photo shoot before. Thank you for all of that. You're amazing. We love and appreciate you greatly. Man, I hate even beginning to get in on what's going on here. I just sort of want to let you guys just play it, take it home, Very good. I think I just realized I ruined these endings by talking over them. I don't need to talk. Jeez, look at this. You guys are letting the keys do the talking. I can just shout out some Aquaman right there. Love our friends over at Aquaman Limited. They got underwater drone inspections, as well as water monitoring sampling. True story. As we call it a day on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing show. Hopefully you got through your Monday, Tuesday, which is today. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll check in with this guy, Adrian Blarson, our in-house author. He's got a book. It's really good. I'm learning all about it. Learning I'm not a very good leader, so I got to read the book a little more to become a better leader of our team around here. But that's why the book's there. Check in with him and Coach Mays tomorrow. And we might check in with Blair Jones, former Calgary Flame, now Saskatoon Rhino ball player, as he was at the draft over the weekend. We'll see what the sphere was like. We'll check in with him. Until then, have an amazing rest of your Tuesday night. You take care. You guys were great. Great job.